Hello and welcome to another Overpaid Over the Bar video with me, Anthony. If my voice sounds croaky, if my eyes look red, that's because I've been watching way too much World Cup, especially my team England in the second round of this competition. And in this video, I'm going to be looking back at the second round matches we've had so far and forward to the quarterfinals, which are almost settled. We're yet to see Argentina and Switzerland play Egypt and Colombia, respectively, today. But apart from that, we're almost done with the second round. I've been away in the Algarve, so I haven't been able to do any videos. But this one, it could be a disaster given my voice is going. But anyway, I mean, this second round has been in so many ways absolutely epic in terms of a story and drama. In so many games have been so many things that have been larger than life in a sense about the about the actual games. So first of all, let's look at the games one by one. First of all, Morocco beat Canada. Not much to say about this game. Not a great game, but Morocco just basically did a number on Canada. Canada weren't at their level of professionalism. I mean, Morocco roughed them up a bit. Like just it was a very, very one-sided game in the sense of you never thought Canada would get something. Next, we had an amazing tie between France and Paraguay, and the hero in this game was Kylian Mbappe. And in this round, we also had for every hero we had a zero, and I don't know his name, and I don't care about his name. But the referee in this game was absolutely atrocious and allowed Paraguay to basically kick France whenever they wanted without getting any yellow cards. They should have had at least one red card. And Mbappe rose above the provocation and is laughing in the face of Paraguayan players. I think everybody understood that except Paraguayans. And to add to the zeros for this round, we have a Paraguayan senator called Celeste Amarilla who publicly, publicly called Kylian Mbappe a racist name, for which he responded admirably in his own way today. So we are not seeing we are not seeing evil win in this tournament. This is the great thing. We're not seeing the stupidity and the hatred coming out first. We're seeing the love coming out first in this tournament. Unfortunately, everyone's favorite other team, Brazil, were pretty dreadful against Norway. I've said all the way through, I've said I don't fancy them. I don't think they're going to go very far. I don't think their midfield is good enough. And we saw this in the game that all Norway really had to do was make sure that they organized properly and controlled that midfield area. And Brazil barely had a look in this game. And of course, another hero for this round was Erling Haaland, who stepped up with one header where he gets across and Gabriel really well. And then the second goal, I don't know why they're standing off him and giving him that space. Maybe they're thinking he's not going to shoot from there. And of course, he shoots from there and scores an absolute blinder for the second goal. And we have a zero in this round. Neymar made himself look a bit stupid at the final whistle. Not a good way to go out in your World Cup career. I suppose Brazilians just want to put this behind them really and move on. And I've heard today from a Brazilian commentator that it's unlikely that Ancelotti will get the sack. They think he'll be given the benefit of the doubt to carry on, which is surprising because I think a lesser name would definitely be going after this tournament. I'm not sure that the selections were quite right from him, and I don't think he's organized the team well, but just my opinion. Okay, then we had what some people are calling an amazing the game of the tournament. It's not the game of the tournament. The game of the tournament was Argentina Cabo Verde, which I wasn't able to comment on here because it happened when I was away. And I must say, Argentina Cape Verde was an incredible game to watch. I really did enjoy that game so much as a neutral. I don't think anyone was a neutral by the end of the game. When the second Cape Verde goal flew in, and what a goal! Yeah, I'm talking about the second round, the round of 16 here, not the second round. Sorry, I've been calling it the second round. The round of 16 we're talking about here. Um, so I can't really include him in my list of heroes, but so many heroes in that Cape Verde team. But a good contender for game of the tournament happened on Monday night in Europe, after late afternoon in Mexico, where Mexico and England played out an amazingly competitive and dramatic game, which in which Mexico were as good as England, if not better, at various stages of the game in terms of chance creation. They did more, um, but the star players that England have carried us through in this match, and really, it wasn't just Kane and Bellingham this time. Anthony Gordon had an absolute stormer, and I definitely put him in my heroes list for this round because that winning of that penalty at a very crucial moment when we were 2-1 up, down to 10 men, I think that was incredibly important. And his speed and awareness to get to that ball was kind of a moment of the match for me. Although the Bellingham goals, the second goal was a beautiful team move. In between this time, Mexico pressured England a lot. And then in the last 20 minutes, England were just digging in as far as they could. And credit to the manager, good tactics, good substitutions. I think if we hadn't gone down to 10 men, because of the space that Mexico were allowing us on the counter attack, I don't see us losing that game at all. Once we went down to 10 men, I was worried. But before that, I was never worried, to be honest, because Mexico's midfield covering really wasn't great. And Gordon was left way too much space on the left wing, for example. I want to mention the Mexico fans because obviously England fans were outnumbered by, I don't know, 10,000 to 1 or whatever. Or no, probably less than 10,000, but you get my drift, 100 to 1 in the stadium. And you might think that's an intimidating place to be. And of course, during the game, the Mexico fans would have heaped abuse on England and the fans. But the reports coming out of Mexico from almost everybody, I mean, everybody that I've seen, saying that after the game and before the game, Mexico fans could not be more welcoming and even congratulating England fans after the game and partying with England fans after the game. So, as I'm saying, in this tournament, we are seeing the real spirit of football bringing people together in the best way possible. And what I've never been to Mexico, but I would certainly love to go there and experience that vibe in that country because it sounds like an amazing experience for the England fans who went to this game, unforgettable. And that's also down to the hosts who should be hosting the final. Make no bones about it. The USA should not be hosting the final in this tournament. That stadium at the Azteca should be hosting the final. I think everyone agreeing on that now, not least for the fact that the weather isn't as intense as it is in the States because of the altitude. So, yeah, the altitude, by the way, that we had our excuse ready. It didn't seem to affect us too much in the end. Then we saw Portugal play Spain last night in a game that can't be described as a classic in any way possible. Both teams created a few chances, and I think the significant thing here is that the winning goal for Spain was basically created by a run by Merino at a very critical moment across the back line, across Portugal's back line to create the space. Fantastic pass from Ferran Torres through the line to give Merino a one-on-one, which he still has to finish well, but he does finish well. But I think the speed and the awareness there that he shows also where Portugal were lacking because I've been a defender of Ronaldo in this tournament because I didn't think the midfield was playing well enough. But when you look at the options that a slow and aging Cristiano Ronaldo gave the rest of his team in terms of passing, he just was more of a problem than he was a solution in any of the games, but especially in this one, they needed someone up front that could pull the spaces. And honestly, his comments where he keeps referring to himself in the third person, Cristiano has done this, Cristiano has done that. For a player who scored, I think, over 140 goals for his country and has done so many great things in his career, he has damaged his legacy. Maybe not in Portugal, where he will always be a hero, but I think worldwide, he has damaged his legacy in this tournament, which I think is a real shame. Um, and I think one thing that's also common in this tournament is that narcissism is being shown up. Players that are not narcissists. I mean, whatever you think of Mbappe, he's not a narcissist. He's somebody who just gets on with it, doesn't draw attention to himself unreadily. And Ronaldo's personality has put a lot of people off him in this tournament, and it's a big shame. I don't think it's a. I'm not. Um, I mean, I'm not saying anything new, and actually, I got a bit tired of the amount of people saying Ronaldo was the problem in this tournament because I think the rest of the team also didn't play well. And in this match, João Neves had a really bad game, for example. So he's not the only player that let Portugal down. Let's be clear about that. Anyway, and um, sad for the right back Nuno Mendes, who had a great tournament, and in the end had to leave this game early, which I think was also a problem for Portugal. Anyway, Portugal are out. Difficult match in the round of 16. Spain, not an easy game. So they were unlucky there, but they've never really in this tournament showed they were able to compete at the highest level with the best teams. So, okay. And then finally, to round off our analysis of heroes and zeros for the round of 16, round of 30, no, round of 16, we have the USA game against Belgium, which was preceded by the most tin pot dictatorship move I've seen in the modern era in the World Cup, with Donald Trump managing to get the red card of following Balogun overturned. Well, I would say it's astonishing, but nothing Trump does is astonishing anymore. It's difficult. I mean, honestly, it's astonishing that Gianni Infantino bowed down to that sort of pressure, and also that Pierluigi Collina, a man that everyone respects from the world of refereeing, has not had anything to say about it either, who's in charge of refereeing for this World Cup. Which, by the way, he's done a very good job with generally, I think. Not to be the same to be said about Infantino, who's cozying up to Trump is quite disgusting. So Belgium are the heroes, another set of heroes in this round, because not only did they whack the USA after not looking convincing at all in their previous games, they then proceeded to mock Trump with a Trump dance by the corner flag at the end of the game. And then their social media wrote, overturn this afterwards. And we see good triumphing over evil once again. I feel sorry for the USA fans who are not Trump fans. And I actually was enjoying watching the USA in this World Cup, and I had nothing against them until this game. I feel sorry for them. They have a president who behaves like, well, a narcissistic idiot, another narcissist, getting his pants pulled down at this World Cup. So that is the round of 32 so far. Tonight, this afternoon, Argentina, Egypt. followed by Switzerland, Colombia. I'm expecting Argentina and Switzerland to go through. Many people think Colombia will. I'm not so sure. Right, but let me just drag us back to fantasy football for a minute. In this round of 16, I kept with Jude Bellingham. I kept with Mbappe. I brought in Koundé, and I'm Argentina players are yet to play. I did very well in the round of 32, and I'm now at 30,899 in the mini league. My mini league is called Stop Ice, and in the mini league, I am just ahead of, well, 40 points ahead of, 38 points ahead of, who's that? That's my Portuguese friend. I can't remember. Uh, it's Gonzalo, I think is his name. I forget his name now. So I'm saying he's my friend. I've never met him, so I can't remember his name. He's also got a good team here with the Argentinian teams yet to play. Right, let's go to the round of the quarterfinals now. Let's look at the quarterfinals. So I've got all of my players have gone through to the quarterfinals, except Sanchez of Mexico, who I need to transfer out. I'm happy with most of my players that have gone through. I'll keep with them, and then possibly get rid of Saibari against France. I don't know. Morocco against France. That's not a foregone conclusion, is it? I think Morocco could give France a game here. Spain, I think, will beat Belgium again, possibly with a clean sheet. And I fancy England to beat Norway, but a lot will depend on how much England can control this game because Norway were very good against Brazil and they're very well organized and anything can happen on the day. But I'll keep with Bellingham and Kane. I'll keep my French players. Remember, in this round, you are allowed five transfers in this. Sorry, five players from one team. So I could have five French players against Morocco. I don't think I will. I might have a few Spanish defenders against Belgium. I think that's where I'm going with this. I think I'll go transfer out Sanchez and transfer in all these Spanish players at the top. Look, well, how much money have I got? 4.4. That's not enough. That's not enough. So I'll have to transfer out um, a more expensive player to get. That's going to be hard, you see. At this point in the game, it's still quite difficult to do this. Anyway, so that's my round of 32, my round of 16 roundup. I'm sorry I missed the game before. I'm not sure how many videos I can do now. It's all very thick and fast. Uh, with the quarterfinals following, the semifinals will follow next week in the middle of the week, and then the final is really not far away. And who can say who will be in that final? At the minute, looks like France and Spain most likely winners. I think England must have a shout in there. Also Argentina. I expect. Well, we could be looking at Argentina England semi-final. That would be epic as well. I've enjoyed this World Cup so far enormously, and I hope you're enjoying it too. I think for me, this is if it keeps going this way, it's going to be my favorite World Cup ever in terms of overall entertainment. I'm not just talking about England, who've obviously played a great game, and what England get criticised for is their performances as much as their results. And that was a great performance. So thank you for watching. I'm sorry about my voice. And see you next time.